It is Thursday evening, August 13th, 2026. Let me start with a milestone worth celebrating. I started this TQQQ challenge in December 2023 by investing just $1,000 in TQQQ. So far, I have invested a total of $20,300, which has grown to $50,800. That is a total return of 150% in 2 years and 8 months. The goal of this TQQQ challenge has always been to document my TQQQ long-term investing journey over 30+ years, showing that TQQQ can actually be an excellent long-term investing tool if we follow certain discipline rules. Back in 2023, most experts and financial commentators stated that TQQQ should only be used as a short-term trading tool, since it would supposedly lose value over time due to volatility decay and high management fees. Here in 2026, many experts are still saying the exact same thing. I am genuinely glad that I have been able to demonstrate the real possibility of TQQQ long-term investing since 2023, with actual numbers rather than just theory. Let's begin with TQQQ's current status. TQQQ is currently trading around $77, significantly up from $70 last month. To understand where we are, let's revisit the full journey. TQQQ hit a prior all-time high of $60 on October 29, 2025. Then TQQQ plunged all the way down to $37 on March 30 during the Iran war crisis. After the temporary ceasefire announcement, TQQQ rebounded powerfully from March 31 all the way through June 3, when TQQQ hit a brand new all-time high of $88. As I mentioned in previous videos, this V-shaped recovery was steeper than the 2025 recovery. In 2025, TQQQ climbed at about a 40-degree angle. In 2026, TQQQ climbed at about a 70-degree angle. And I specifically warned you since May that the faster you go up, the harder the pullbacks can be. That warning proved accurate once again. TQQQ then experienced a painful plunge over 2 months, bottoming on July 29, 2026 when TQQQ dropped all the way down to $57. In July 2026, market sentiment shifted noticeably as investors pivoted from broad AI enthusiasm towards scrutinizing near-term AI monetization and heavy capital expenditures. This was compounded by a higher-for-longer interest rate environment after the Federal Reserve held rates steady in late July. Multiple compression and stretched valuations led to a clear rotation from high-growth tech stocks into value and cyclical sectors. However, after touching the SMA 200 green line, TQQQ was able to rebound powerfully from $57 all the way back to $77 today. This 2-week rebound happened partly because the underlying business fundamentals and robust corporate earnings reports provided a strong structural floor, preventing deeper market corrections as investors actively navigated summer volatility. Remember, TQQQ is engineered to deliver 3 times the daily returns of QQQ, which represents the Nasdaq 100. This index includes some of the most powerful companies in the world: Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Micron, Amazon, AMD, Google, and Tesla. So understanding the Nasdaq 100's health is absolutely critical to our TQQQ strategy. The market demonstrated incredible resilience earlier this year, climbing from a war crisis low of $555 on March 30, 2026 all the way to a new all-time high of $748 on June 3. After QQQ plunged to $661 on July 29, QQQ rebounded to a range between the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line. Then, over the past 2 weeks, QQQ successfully climbed above 3 key SMA lines in sequence. First the SMA 5 blue line on July 30, second the SMA 20 black line on August 4, and finally the SMA 50 purple line on August 7. Currently, QQQ sits at $732, positioned above all 4 SMA lines. Based on this strong momentum, I think we have a good chance of pushing above the previous all-time high price of $748 within just a few weeks. Looking at this QQQ daily chart from Finviz, QQQ broke decisively through this purple resistance line, which is a positive technical signal indicating that QQQ can likely stay above the SMA 50 line for some time going forward. Since our channel emphasizes long-term investing, let me show you this monthly QQQ chart for proper perspective. Even with last month's sharp pullback, the bigger picture remains truly remarkable. QQQ has stayed above the SMA 50 purple line continuously from 2009 all the way through 2026. QQQ has also remained above the SMA 20 black line most of the time since 2009, with the 2022 bear market being the notable exception. QQQ still sits well above the SMA 200 green line. Over the past 17 years, QQQ has been in price discovery mode, consistently hitting new record highs. Notice the three parallel lines, the SMA 20 black line on top, the SMA 50 purple line in the middle, and the SMA 200 green line at the bottom. This stacking order, where shorter-term averages sit above longer-term ones, remains the classic signature of a healthy, sustained bull market. I firmly believe this 17-year bull market has strong legs to continue for many more years, even through short-term pullbacks like the one we just experienced. Turning to the economic outlook, the latest GDP Now forecast projects U.S. GDP growth for the third quarter of 2026 at a robust 5.8%, significantly up from the second quarter. This is a massive improvement. For comparison, U.S. GDP growth showed a negative 0.6% contraction in Q1 2025, 3.8% growth in Q2, 4.4% growth in Q3, 0.5% growth in Q4 2025, 2.1% growth in Q1 2026, and 1.5% growth in Q2 2026. The CME FedWatch tool continues to suggest the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates once in December this year. Since interest rate policy is probably the single most important macro factor for TQQQ investing, we will keep a very close eye on upcoming inflation data over the next several months. Meanwhile, Polymarket shows the perceived probability of a U.S. recession in 2026 has decreased from 10% in July to just 8% today. This is the lowest recession probability recorded since October 2025. Keep in mind that peak recession odds for 2025 hit 66% on Polymarket, yet no recession ever materialized. The Fear and Greed Index climbed from 40 in the fear category last month up to 66 in the greed category this month. Sentiment has been steadily recovering for the past 2 weeks, moving in lockstep with the price recovery we just discussed. Let's check our portfolio performance. I have not added any TQQQ shares since last month. After buying TQQQ at $43, $44, $45, and $46 in February, I had hoped to buy even more below $35. However, TQQQ rebounded too quickly after touching $37 in March, so I did not get the opportunity to buy that particular dip. My phased investment approach remains straightforward and disciplined. I deploy small amounts of capital when QQQ drops near the SMA 200 green line, and I keep the largest portion of my cash ready if price falls decisively below that level. I also carefully watch secondary indicators like volume, RSI, and MACD to confirm my investment decisions before pulling the trigger. Now let's look at the actual numbers. Currently, I hold 658 shares of TQQQ with an average cost basis of $30.89. My portfolio is valued at approximately $50,800, with total unrealized gains of about $30,500. That translates to a 150% return. This is a nice improvement from the 128% return and $46,300 market value I reported last month. I received a dividend of $112.67 on June 30th. My total capital investment remains approximately $20,300. My investment plan is crystal clear. Since December 2023, I have targeted around $12,000 per year. My goal is to commit a total of $36,000 by the end of November 2026, fulfilling my $12,000 annual investment target for this 3-year period. I have not sold a single TQQQ share since 2023 and do not plan to unless I see unmistakable signals of an imminent, severe market crash similar to the 2000 dot-com bubble crash or the 2008 financial crisis. My long-term goal remains absolutely unwavering: invest $360,000 over 30-plus years to achieve multi-million-dollar portfolio growth. For the full rationale behind this strategy, watch my video Cash vs. SPY vs. QQQ vs. QLD vs. TQQQ, 30-year showdown. My investment methodology rests firmly on 4 core principles that guide every single decision I make. First, monthly investing, consistently committing about $12,000 a year into TQQQ. Second, enhanced dollar cost averaging, or EDCA, buying more aggressively during market downturns and less or not at all during market peaks. Third, sell before crashes. I will only exit when I see clear, unmistakable signals of a major market collapse, with full intent to reinvest at substantially lower prices. Fourth, no margin. I strictly avoid all forms of debt to ensure financial security and minimize overall risk exposure. Let me close with the August 2026 scorecard. TQQQ rebounded from $57 to $77, a powerful recovery in just 2 weeks. QQQ climbed back above all 4 key SMA lines and sits at $732, within striking distance of its all-time high of $748. My portfolio grew from $46,300 to $50,800, with returns improving from 128% to 150%. GDP growth is accelerating sharply to 5.8%. Recession odds hit a new low of 8%. And after 2 years and 8 months, my original $20,300 investment has become $50,800, proving that TQQQ can absolutely work as a long-term holding for disciplined investors who never use margin. Thank you for joining this month's update. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you never miss new content. Remember, this channel is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Always tailor your investments to your own unique goals and risk tolerance. Your continuous support gives incredible energy and purpose to this challenge. Until the next update, take care, stay disciplined, and happy investing.